by students looking for a way of repudiating the obligations of growing up. And it was a kind of refusal to grow up. Growing up is painful. It involves standing on your own and taking responsibility for your life. And by repudiating bourgeois society, you seem to have got rid of the need to do that. I think that has been... that was one first early instance of what we're now living through, and it has a lot to do with what I was referring to earlier, which is the excessive luxury of modern life.
But that luxury is unavoidable. I mean, you're not. Nobody is nobody is telling us that we should go back to harsher times.
Aren't they? I'm telling you.
Harsher times also means higher rates of death of infants.
Yes, there are a lot of bad things about harsher times, but there are some good things. And one particular good thing is that young people are forced to grow up and take responsibility for their own survival, and then the need to love someone and to form a family and to form a protective thing around yourself is so much greater.
You can't do that in an environment of material affluence, is that?
Oh, you can.
If you're responsible.
Yes, but it's harder. An affluent society is one which is replete with temptations. And ours, ultimately, that's what postmodernism is. It's the philosophy of temptation. And it's a way of just giving way to whatever appeals to you.
But in a sense that, considering that most people probably would not like to go back to harsher times, yours seems to be a stillborn project in a sense.
I wasn't saying it's a project. I'm a philosopher. I'm telling you what's true, not what you can do.
Isn't that itself a problem?
Well, not really.
That the philosophers have explained the world, but not been able to change it. To quote
yeah, but one has to be a little bit more modest. I think people who set out to change the world always make it worse.
They usually do, don't they?
But a more modest proposal is the one that I have always engaged in, which is just to understand the world and make the small adjustments that you can in the local arena, which is yours.
Yes. So the local arena is very much, at least the European cultural sphere for you. And in a way, it means that going back to Western values and would be to accept at least their universality, would that be the first step in a sense that...
Yes, this is a very difficult question. Universal values only make sense in a very specific context. This is the problem. And the attempt to actually to universalize them and project them or impose them on everyone just leads to their appropriation by sinister forces, as we've seen so many times. I think insofar as there is a lesson taught by history, it is that small-scale, modest, unassuming, self-correcting things are better. And they have to be local, limited, and even if they're inspired by universal values, they shouldn't have the ambition to impose those values on everyone.
Do we have that capacity in Europe? After all, we are fairly small communities.
Yes, I think we have, and I think that we Northern Europeans have shown a remarkable ability to do it. The Swedes, the Norwegians, the Finns, when allowed by the Russians, and the English and the Scots and the Welsh and even the Irish, we have all developed systems of law and neighbourliness which have enabled us to live quite happily within our borders.
And now this is threatened from the inside, more than the outside.
It is threatened, of course, by immigrant communities that don't accept the legal order.
But they are so small.
These are small, but you know, in the city of Malmö, for instance, you have a big problem.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
And so do we in Bradford. That's one threat, but of course there's the threat from the European Union of swamping our legal order with meaningless regulations which have no legitimacy in the eyes of the people, and that is another problem.
So we go back to the old saying of small is beautiful.
Small is okay. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's beautiful.
That was a very philosophical answer.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.